Hey everybody, it's King Kaiju here. I am back, and the other day I had a video on Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 getting nixed, and allegedly part of that was the script that she turned in. Surprise, surprise. You did see Wonder Woman 1984, right? She wrote that. Nonetheless, there's been some further fallout, maybe is the best term, and it is all surrounding her film that she's working on, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. All right, so rumor and speculation set to stun. Here we go. So the wonderful people at Bounding Into Comics have this great article. Basically, in a nutshell, the latest rumor is Patty Jenkins' Star Wars Rogue Squadron script was, quote, a mess, unquote. Surprise, surprise. Goes into a little bit of a recap then, kind of basically says that, it was initially announced that she was doing Rogue Squadron. Then she did a follow-up saying she was really far along into it. She was super excited. She was going to do the greatest fighter pilot movie ever made because she never saw Top Gun. Nonetheless, big update. Now, this one was most interesting. Came in June 2021. She was talking with the Associated Press, and she mentioned that Michael Stackpole's books and video game on Rogue Squadron were a great influence to her. Now, this is important for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, Disney has nixed all the extended universe material for Star Wars. Idiots. Nonetheless, they have been drawing from it, obviously. I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are like, yeah, nix it all you want, but there's some good stuff and we're going to use it. And apparently that was kind of going on here as well. So that's a good thing. Except, old Patty follows up with another line. Now, if you hear this or a variation of it from any creative person regarding comic books, TV shows, books, movies, you know you're in trouble, okay? So her exact phrase is this in regards to that Michael Stackpole X-Wing Rogue Squadron books. Quote, and yet it must be brought to a new age. And this is a variation on the dreaded, this must be catered to a modern audience. Now, this is particularly humorous on multiple levels. The first and foremost being the very first Michael Stackpole Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron book was in 1996. Yes, those dark, archaic women kept in the kitchen times of 1996, 26 years ago. Give me a break. This is such crap. Number two reason is anytime that they say that, you know that they are merely going to inject their activism into the piece. Doesn't have anything to do with the times, doesn't have anything to do with sensibilities. They're just going to inject their politics, their axe to grind, their agenda, whatever else it is, into it, and sacrifice story, character development, and basically entertainment. But side note, maybe I'll cover that in a different video someday. So anyways, she says she's influenced, but she's going to ruin it. Okay. And then basically, in November 2021, Hollywood Reporter just kind of drops the little, it's delayed indefinitely. No word of whether it's going to happen or not. And they followed that up with basically saying, hey, look, the real reason is that with Jenkins' schedule and other commitments, we just couldn't make the movie in 2022. Now, I'm inclined to believe that entirely because she was rock and rolling with Wonder Woman 3 at that time. Probably another project we don't even know about. So, this is very credible, very believable. So they took Rogue Squadron off the production slate, and that, when she was done, they'll bring it back. Yeah, that's what they said. I don't have any reason to doubt them, And then finally, later, a Matthew Baloney basically made the rumor mill by stating that, quote, I talked to a few insiders this week, and that said the real culprit was the dreaded creative differences. Specifically, Jenkins couldn't agree on the script with Lucasfilm executives, including senior VP Michelle Rejwan. Now, again, rumor, insider info, speculation, rather specific. Named the executive, named, blah, 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 and it wasn't too long after that, September 2022, they made the official announcement. Disney removes Rogue Squadron from, and this was interesting. They said they removed Rogue Squadron, the Star Wars film, from director Patty Jenkins and from its release calendar. So that's a very interesting statement, right? It isn't just that we're not making this movie because it's off the calendar. We're not making it with Patty Jenkins, is what that really says. And, considering the movie was supposed to come out in December 2023, this wasn't enough time. And then to make rather, the really kind of put over the top and what the gist of this article was, on some podcast, Jeff Schneider of the Onkler appeared. Again, don't know who these people are, but he basically states, I heard some things about Patty Jenkins. I've heard she's a nightmare. I'm sorry. I hate to be the guy who's calling the woman a name, but I get it. Oh my God. But listen, I've said that about countless male directors too. I've heard everything she turned in with Wonder Woman 3 was like a mess. I heard the Star Wars thing was a mess. I don't know what you want me to say. That's what I've heard. Okay. So that kind of puts the whole thing in perspective. Now let's do a quick recap. All right. So do I know what was in Patty Jenkins' script? Of course not. I'm going to make my best effort here to not suppose anything. But what I can say is Wonder Woman 1984, she wrote. So, what is wrong with Wonder Woman 1984 that could possibly roll over into these subsequent projects? And honestly, you can get into the whole, political and woman in power and Mary Sue thing. But at the end of the day, she ignored the hero's journey, which is always a mistake. I mean, Wonder Woman is a icon. She is a powerful female character. First film, which Patty Jenkins did not write, was done very, very well. Wonder Woman had to struggle. She had to overcome. She had obstacles. And it wasn't just in her childhood. Second one, none of that whatsoever. But she also ignored the very standard, accepted, and expected, and that is important, narrative structure 3-arc film, right? That is to say that, and especially in not just the superhero genre, but we'll say the big blockbuster genre, because Star Wars, obviously not a superhero movie, but it falls under the same sort of umbrella, okay? And you can argue and debate when it started. Some will say Jaws, but at the end of the day, for the better part of a couple generations almost at this point, there's been a standard structure that has been very, very successful, and it doesn't get old, and you need to understand this. And that's that your third arc is the final culmination in the battle. And the battle could be literal, and oftentimes is literal, okay? But there needs to be a big showcase, resolution, and changing from the beginning of the film, okay? And so the third act for Wonder Woman 1984 ends with no battle and Wonder Woman talking the bad guy and, in fact, 7+ billion people in the world into a resolution that resets everything back to the way it was. This flies in the polar opposite face of everything that you are supposed to do and everything the audience expects and everything the audience wants. And of course, other people will say, maybe Patty Jenkins. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. Other people, because I've seen other people will say this. Oh, no. That was really cool because it subverted your expectations. That's the buzzword these days. We want to subvert expectations. It's like saying, I don't want to make money. It's seriously. Okay. You're not clever. You're not special. You're not unique. You're not going to invent the wheel. You're not going to subvert expectations and create this whole new wonderful thing. People have been trying it for thousands of years. They haven't done it. The hero's journey works. The third act, resolution and change, works. No matter what you think, Hollywood writers, you are not going to change that. And when somehow, some way, someone gives you money to try and change that, Wonder Woman 1984 leaps to mind. It fails every single time. Okay? So I suspect that's what went on with this script. It might have been chock full of more Mary Sue stuff and all that other crap. But at the end of the day, it probably just wasn't a very good script. It probably just didn't follow the hero's journey. It probably just didn't have a satisfactory third act. I don't know. Again, this is speculation. But hey, the whole article is rumor and speculation. These are just what my interpretation of the rumors at hands. I can't even say facts at hands. At rumors at hands are. What is your interpretation? That's the $1 million question. Please let me know in the comments section below.